Twins doctor told me that years ago. And I was like, what does he know?
Good Monday morning, everybody. John and Lance along with Dell for the next 3 hours here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Welcome into the show. And we had another soft sweep, Lance.
Yep.
Another.
It just keeps on rolling.
They just keep on.
You can't stop the Astros from winning 2 out of 3.
You can't stop Ryan Presley. I'm going to tell you that right now.
No, you can't.
Okay, so this is a tremendous stat here. Ryan Presley, when appearing in a game tied or up 1 or up 2 this season, he's got 3 holds, and 2 other times he kept the game tied. He's got 5 blown saves.
Jeez.
He's got 3 losses and 5 blown saves. That's awful. 7 times he has not been able. He's been worse 7 times. He's been bad 7 times, and he's actually held the lead 5 times, or kept the game tied. So 7 out of 12 times he's been bad. That in the 8th inning, that's awful.
Yeah.
Well, so you would think to make sure that the team, right, Del? We got Joe Espada? We got sound or no? Oh, you just got the quote?
He's just asking for your opinion.
We're going to continue to rely on him, Espada said.
Yep.
He's one of our guys. He's a big part of our bullpen, and I believe in him.
Yep.
He has gotten big outs for us in the past, and he will again. Look at the back of his baseball card, Lance.
Mm-hmm.
Have you looked at the back of his baseball card
He
lately?
didn't say that.
No, I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
You should. If you have anything
it's
disparaging to say.
He's had some pretty good years. Last year was
not great.
not one of his best.
No.
For a whole half year, it wasn't great. And he had some moments where he got better again, but it's been pretty much ever since he was sitting in that chair over there.
Yep.
It's been
a roller coaster.
Yeah. And I'm going to blame it on the killer bees.
What?
I don't know how, but it
Somehow.
can't be on us.
Well, no.
I can't blame it on the.
We got to take the L.
I can't blame it on, like, what am I going to do? Blame it on the, what was that show?
What? You can't just blame it on Whitey. Those are 2 really white guys.
No, that's the lineup. But who is the Wheelhouse? I can't blame it on them. They're not here.
Well,
I can't blame it on
he couldn't even
like
remember
the show
Wheelhouse.
after. I can't blame it on Paul Gallant. He's not in the same time slot anymore.
No,
like it's just it's probably on us. It's less on Ryan Presley executing and really more on us just having him on.
It just is. It's just maddening to watch, and they're gonna. And Espada says we're just gonna keep on doing it. Why? Why are you just going to keep on doing it?
That's his job. What do you mean? Why do they?
What do you mean? No, well, if you can't do your job, you get demoted.
Demoted
Brian
to what?
Abreu leads the league in appearances. Brian Abreu has actually been good. Put Brian Abreu in there in the 8th.
He leads the league in appearances. You just said it. They can't pitch him all the time.
No, but they can pitch him in the 8th and cut back on Presley's work.
Well, but if they don't,
you know what? Then Seth Martinez has to pitch the 7th.
But those are the big 3. You know that. Those are the big 3.
Yeah, but not if they're not the big 3 anymore.
Doesn't matter.
What do you mean? Yes, it does
the
matter.
Astros, no, that's not how they work.
Yeah, no,
you gotta have confidence.
No, you got to put him in a position.
Keep wheeling him out there. See what happens.
No, he can go in the 6th inning now of a 5-run game.
We're not doing 6th inning Presley.
Yeah.
He's fragile mentally. He could just completely be even worse. You can't do things that can hurt his psyche, his confidence.
You can't do things that are going to hurt. You mean like put him in the 8th inning when he's screwing it up?
I wonder if he tips his pitches because where is that? He used to be able to live off fastball and wipe out breaking pitch, and it's like teams know to spit on his breaking pitch now. It's unbelievable, and they just, I feel like he's not. I mean, there's got to be something here that is it all mental? Is pitching coach going to have to step in and try to figure out what's going on with his stuff? Is he tipping anything? Is he? I mean, I know most of it is going to be mental here, but some of it is he's just not. He doesn't have the same. his location is much more hittable right now. And guys go in there, like half the battle is you got to make a guy have some doubt as a hitter. And that was what Trevor Hoffman lived off of. He had an 89-mile-an-hour fastball, and you knew that he was going to throw you a change, but you had doubt at the plate. You had a hard time. You didn't have confidence. I get the feeling everyone steps into the box with tremendous confidence against Ryan Presley. Well, and because they know that he's been very hittable this year. And it's not that he's got bad luck. He's been very hittable. Very hittable on a consistent basis. So I think guys go into the box knowing I got a really good chance against this guy. When he steps out of the pen, the other dugout has some confidence. Where in the past, you might have thought, man, we're in a lot of trouble. Not now. So I don't know. I could, and you can't see the Astros won't move him, even though a team might have some interest in him as a rehabilitated arm who, that they can work with him with their pitching staff. Like I could see somebody saying, hey, this is Ryan Presley. Let us get him to our pitching coach, and maybe Strami says it. Get him over here and let me work with him. But I don't think the Astros will make any moves, but he's the kind of guy right now, like, man, you're just paying him to do what? To do what exactly?
No, at some point you just got to say
he's a bust right now.
You can't put him in that position. You're hurting the team. It's the same thing as Jose Abreu.
Yeah.
At some point you had to say we got to stop this.
The OPS is up near 300 now. So
well,
slow down on Abreu, who had a home run to center field over the weekend. A home run to dead center field. He didn't have one. He didn't have a hit yesterday.
OPS is almost up to 300. You just said.
He's making it even worse though, because with all these, I say all these hits, with the hits that he's had, it's just going to be like, told you.
Yeah.
And good for him if it can help the Astros win.
Well, yeah.
I don't mind if it helps the Astros win, but right now the Ryan Presley situation is one where you're right. Joe Espada has moved other people up and down the lineup.
You just have
Whelan and Dealin, and I like it. It's based on merit. Right now, from a meritocracy standpoint, Ryan Presley cannot be one of your top 3 relievers. He can't be, not based on the way he's pitched. I know his history and his baseball card and his salary tells you yes, but frankly, and I don't have a tremendous amount of confidence in Montero, but Montero's a better pitcher this year.
Montero is better this year, but Seth Martinez is better this year. I mean,
that's not a role Seth Martinez has ever had.
Dubin is better this year.
Yeah.
There's a lot of – now, I don't want Dubin in there in the seventh.
No, I don't either.
I don't want Montero in there
But
either.
maybe
he's got no confidence. By the way, you see Montero gives up a runner, he takes him out right away.
Yeah, Montero, even though the numbers look better, I don't feel like there's a tremendous amount of confidence from anybody in Montero, including Montero and Montero. But Seth Martinez might be a guy. I mean, he's been so far. It's not like he's worked his way up the pecking order. Seth Martinez is not there. So, but maybe just put him there. Just see what happens. What are you going to lose a game on the road to a team with a sub 500 record? That's fine. You do that anyway. This sign of the devil baseball 666 is not going to. It's not going to. It feels good to win 2 out of 3 and win a series. And it's like, that's a really good winning percentage. If you can win at 6666667, if you can do that, it feels like hey, Dad, you're playing good baseball if you can do that all year long. But the fact is, you're not really catching up. Like it takes forever to catch up that way once you're in a hole. So yesterday is a great example of, man, that has got to be you'll take 2 out of 3, but that's got to be you got that lead. You get into the 6th inning and you already have that lead, man, you just got to shut that down. That's what you're supposed to have, is the bullpen that makes games shorter, that contracts games because they're really good. You spend a bunch of money on Hader. There's plenty of money on Montero. There's plenty of money with Ryan Presley. That's supposed to contract the games, and you're not doing it, and you lose that one, and all of a sudden you look up and you're like, man, you're not even gaining ground very quickly at all.
No, well, you're 6.5 out.
Yeah, you were 7.5 going the weekend.
Yeah.
You picked up a game.
You picked up a game, which was and it was a miracle one because Kansas City came back and beat Seattle the other night.
That doesn't happen often.
Yeah, no. What they were up they were up 9.
Well, they were up 7-0 after an inning.
Yeah, and then they were up 9.
That's a tough loss
and then they lose the game. So thank you to them. You got Arrighetti against Harrison tonight, Blanco against Hicks, and then Valdez against Webb on the getaway game, afternoon game from San Francisco. So you got to go to San Francisco. Not an easy place to play for sure, but they're not a good team either. This is just an average team. So you could go take 2 out of 3 there, and you just hope and pray that Seattle starts to fall apart. 713-780-3776 is the number if you'd like to get in here.
I do appreciate you guys allowing Josh Hader to get away unscathed.
Yeah, I noticed Hader hasn't. Hader didn't exactly. Gave up 2 runs. Now, it was Cabbage. The walk-off home run came when Cabbage reached over a very, very small wall and made the catch, actually fairly easily, made it up with the arm extended. And as he came down and brought his glove down, something happened where the ball
hit the
came
wall
out.
and the ball fell out.
Yeah, but still, close your glove. I'll bring a glove in here with a baseball in it.
No.
I'm going to hit the desk as hard as I can and see if the ball comes out.
Wait, you think that's the same thing as running full speed?
Make a catch. I'll jog up here, but make a catch.
You won't
Well,
jog.
when you sometimes, I could see how it happened to him, but
I
he
can't.
makes the catch.
You know
I mean,
why?
that's
that play is what guys who spent most of their lives in the minor leagues do.
well, I don't know if it's because he's a minor
playing
leaguer.
on
It just
bad pro
fell
teams.
off. I mean, not every catch is like the Clemson kid that's over the shoulder. Willie Mays only
Would
catches it
Chaz
with his hand.
McCormick had made that catch?
Chaz would have made that catch.
Jordan would have.
Would Chaz have made that catch?
Chaz would make that catch.
Is he quick enough to get over there?
Yes.
Yeah, Chaz is fast. I don't know if you heard.
I mean, even with all the banana pudding?
Yeah, he's not. He doesn't have not pudding pants. That's not him.
I didn't call him pudding pants.
You just kind of did.
No,
okay?
I didn't. I just said even with all the what's going on in his pants, I had nothing to say about it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chaz makes that catch.
Didn't we have a big first baseman that had a giant butt one time, remember?
We had Jason Jennings.
Yeah, no, but we also had a first baseman.
Yeah, we did.
Iron-
The original iPad pants that I called it.
Iron Pants or something remember it was
iPad booty, but that wasn't Jason Jennings. No, that was somebody else.
It wasn't iPad
Because
booty.
Jason Jennings had one.
Yeah, Jason Jennings was
Jason Jennings had
11-run first inning Jason Jennings.
Yeah,
Remember that
the
one?
Father's Day Massacre. I'll never forget it.
712 ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Worst games I've ever seen. But yeah, we did have a first baseman who had a big old junkie, like
Do anybody remember who was that?
the kind that you would be scrolling, and then you start, and the algorithm starts to figure out that you like big butts.
Yeah.
And then you scrolling, and there's that first baseman.
Yeah.
No, not this kind.
No. When we come back, did Caitlin Clark make the Olympic team? We'll find out.
What?
We'll find out.
We
Okay?
don't, Del. We don't know yet.
No one knows.
It's a tease.
Yes. No one knows.
It's a tease. Hey, also,
Are you talking about Brett Wallace?
Brett Wallace.
Brett Wallace. There it is.
Brett Wallace.
How did you come? Somebody must have said it.
No, because I remember, and I had to go back. Let's go to the dark years of the Astros and go look at the roster.
You went through scrolling through their lineup.
I just typed in 2013 Astros.
And that was it.
Yeah,
Brett Wallace. Brett Wallace. Yeah. Oh my
Okay,
goodness.
I typed in Brett Wallace butt, and it doesn't auto.
Why would you
so
type that
people
up?
aren't Googling that.
Mm.
So that's not a thing. But it was a thing on our show.
Yeah. So don't. Oh, never mind. I can't do that one.
Look at this dumper.
Yeah. He did. No, that's what he was famous for.
Yeah.
And you know what HRP is famous for? HR and payroll. That's what HRP is famous for. I'm looking for the best way. Listen, I found the best way for you and your company to actually compete in the business world. If your bottom line is not great, if your bottom line is, like, I think we're wasting. How are we wasting money? How is it that we're not as profitable as we possibly could be? How are we getting our payroll to our people as technologically well as we possibly can? And the answer is probably no. You're not doing it. Is our payroll company, is that too expensive? Are you with an admin company that's doing your payroll and they're doing your HR and they're doing all of your 401ks and your benefits packages? Because that's probably where you're losing money right there. HR&P ain't doing benefits packages. What they're doing is HR and payroll, and then they give you options where you can save money on your benefits packages, where the admin company is making a lot of money on those. So that's the game. People, don't play their game. Play your game. All you have to do is go to hrp.net. Save money. hrp.net, 281-880-6525 or hrp.net.
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
What do Alex Bregman and Jeff Bagwell have in common?
Well, Breggy hurt himself. I don't know.
They keep getting hit on the hand.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't know you were going to go to
No.
1994, but yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was MVP.
That's when I first learned about the Hammett bone.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't know what a Hammett bone was, but yeah.
He got hurt in the Hammett bone when he got hit, and then Jordan hurt the same thing just by swinging.
And Kyle Tucker put on the IL this weekend.
Yeah, I knew Tucker wasn't going to be one of these little short-term deals. I thought 4 games. It is going to be. Joan, the team mom, the show mom, she said, excuse me.
Excuse me.
She said it's a 2 to 4 week injury. I don't know how Joan knew, but Joan knew.
Joan was right.
Joan was right.
Joan knows. She might be team mom. You don't know.
She is team mom.
Yeah.
She's our team
She's
mom.
our team mom. That's for sure. That is for sure.
Like some snacks when she gets a chance.
So yeah, it was Brett Wallace, Mr. Smoky Pants. Googled fat Astros first baseman, and the first answer that came up was Lance Berkman. Lance Berkman is not. By the way, Lance Berkman is no longer the coach at
right.
Houston
Yeah, we
Christian.
talked about that.
Yeah,
porky, hog, fat ass, double wide, butterball.
He gets hit for that for having a big face. Same way Matt Stafford.
Yeah.
Matt Stafford got hit with that because they have similar faces. He just unfortunately has,
Now every time you say Matt Stafford, I'm gonna feel like
C.J. Stroud.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna destroy C.J. Stroud.
We're gonna
Aaron
see.
Rodgers is gonna want to beat C.J.'s ass.
Do they have? Do they play this year? Yeah, they play. This year.
They play this year at the Jets on that turf.
I wonder if Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy.
Well, yeah,
he's going to run out with the flag again to start get week 1.
He lasted 3 or 4 plays.
He'll get hurt again. Dude, he played, I think, 3 plays.
Yeah, and CJ got hurt on that field as well. That's where CJ left the game at halftime, right? Or in the second half.
I didn't think he even started that game. Was that the game where he left?
Oh, was he? Oh,
I don't think he even started that game.
Oh, he wasn't even in that game.
No, I don't think he even started that game. But we shall see. Now you were telling me there was something. Now you had a teaser. So Caitlin Clark is on the Olympics?
No,
I don't know. That's everyone's
we don't
waiting
know
to-
yet. I don't think anybody knows yet whether or not Caitlin
Because
Clark.
there was a lot of what would be called brouhaha and hubbub
Well,
over the weekend.
John, you made it sound like you're going to
well,
break some news.
well, I don't want to break it because I don't have enough sources. But the rumor is that Caitlin Clark, okay, I'm going to say it, even though we've been burned by this before, like the schedule remember the Texan schedule came out?
Well,
Yeah,
I
Uncle
feel-
Freddie, we couldn't trust him.
I feel like there
Well,
was.
Caitlin's been asked the question about not making the Olympic team, so
and I don't want to
feel
be
like
included in the whole Texan schedule thing. I feel like one person on the show was like, maybe we should hold off.
Dell was very reluctant.
Well, and I had a disclaimer on it. Okay, this is from a listener,
Oh,
Uncle
And
Freddie.
I said,
I'm not sure.
George!
Yeah,
Let's go!
This is probably it.
this is it. Apparently,
Freddie
yes.
does TikToks.
But
This is
that's
it.
all we have. That's all I have is Caitlin Clark saying she got a call that she didn't make the team. But I don't have another source.
Well, Christine Brennan. No, I don't know. There was other
Yeah,
people.
and every show on the radio has been talking about it. You know what? I'm just glad I don't have to watch the Olympics anymore.
I had a lot of, it's funny how a lot of people
Were you
who
going to watch?
If Caitlin was in it, I
Yeah.
probably would.
Even if she wasn't going to play very much?
Well, apparently she
that's-
wasn't. Who decided that, by the way?
that's the
Well-
reality, by the
Well,
way.
she's not one of the 12 best players. on
Yeah,
the
she
team.
would not
That
have.
been
She would not
decided.
have played
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
They would have treated her like Lakener.
Well, she would have got. Yeah, that's what she would
With
have been.
6:43 remaining in the game against the Jets, CJ took the hard hit.
Yeah, he was in the game.
Yeah, that was
He was?
that
He
was
got
the
a
game he
concussion
got
in that
hurt.
game, right?
On that turf. That was the problem.
Left in the game.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to say I don't really remember. So, so Davis must have come in and finished it because, and then Tennessee, I guess, was
Case.
Case.
Yeah,
And then they went the next week and it wasn't so good. But getting back to the Caitlin Clark thing, it's amazing how many people are for meritocracy, and then they switched on Caitlin Clark. Because if you make the argument, because I think the argument is she's not one of the 12 best players right now. She's not. And I know that she brings eyes. Let's just be real. The people who are most upset, I'm just being completely transparent, and no one else seems to be willing to be transparent. I really like Caitlin Clark. I don't watch. Well, I'm not talking about you guys. I'm just talking about on Twitter, the people who are engaged in culture wars. You didn't care about women's basketball before. I didn't care about women's basketball before. Caitlin Clark plays. I like the things she does because she's got a Steph Curry type game that I've never seen before. She shoots from crazy range, puts up these huge numbers. It's been fun watching. She's come in, and it's been rough in the WNBA since she's come in. She leads the league in turnovers at almost 6 a game. She's got 6.5 assists to 5.6 turnovers, something like that. Not even remotely close to 2-1. She's shooting 37% from the field and like 34% from three. 32 from three. Terrible. These are not good numbers relative to the women's game and what she does. And but it's going to be okay eventually. And then you got the other stuff that you want to talk about. She's not one of the 12 best. So now I'm hearing all the same people, and I'm for meritocracy too, but you can't turn your head and just, except here. I got all these people who believe in meritocracy who no longer believe in it when it comes to Caitlin Clark because it'll help bring eyes and attention to the women's game. And I'm not talking about any one person. I just saw this throughout Twitter. Like, it'll help bring attention. You guys don't care about the women's game? What do you mean it'll help bring attention to our sport? You only care because of, I saw this with Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
You don't care about the Rockets. You only care about Jeremy Lin. When he's gone, you don't care. You don't care about women's basketball. You care about Caitlin Clark, which is fine.
Yeah.
But maybe stay out of the women's Olympic game because, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Patriot, the first thing you're going to do is turn on the U.S. basketball team in the Olympics. You're going to cheer for your own country to lose. I 100% guarantee that now the Caitlin-only fans are cheering for Team USA to lose. They're cheering against their country.
And they won't. They don't need Caitlin. First of all, they don't need Caitlin Clark.
They don't.
They're going to run through that tournament.
They destroy everybody
And who
every
would
game.
you rather put in? Diana Taurasi. So me and Tony had this argument on Twitter. Diana Taurasi or Caitlin Clark?
Caitlin Clark.
You're going to go, you'd rather see it. Yeah, you would.
Yeah.
But the women's basketball team, they'd rather have the veteran, the Olajuwon, let's give him the last All-Star, the last hurrah for the
she's
Olympics.
had 5 already.
I know, but and this is it.
Yeah.
Caitlin's going to have however many.
Right.
And this is her
Well,
last
it might not
chance.
have been Taurasi. You could have still kept her. There's some other names. Anyway,
But they're not better than her.
Here's the deal, though, is that Caitlin Clark.
I'm sorry, she's not
Caitlin
better
Clark
than them.
is, and by the way, and people, now it's because of social media, it's so much more intense than it's ever been. Tiger got the same treatment.
He did.
He got the Fuzzy Zeller treatment. When he came into the league and he changed the sport and everybody benefited from it, but it took a little bit of time. Michael Jordan got this same treatment. He was shut out. They didn't pass him the ball. You know what?
At the All-Star game.
At the All-Star game. But
which is what cost Isaiah Thomas the Dream Team, because Jordan, as we know, carries a bit of a grudge.
That's right. So Isaiah Thomas didn't make All-Star or Olympic teams because of that. The Dream Team because of that. This Caitlin Clark is getting the same treatment that these women, they don't appreciate her yet. They will. It takes a little bit of time. She's going to all the boats will rise because of Caitlin Clark. But when she walks into the league as a rookie, she's going to get her ass kicked. And that's just how it is.
It's all right.
And it's fine.
Yeah. She doesn't need a bunch of white knights.
No,
and I don't mean that.
And that's it. It's just like Justin Fields had to have everybody protecting him.
Oh, I know. I hate that stuff for Justin, where we must protect Justin, but Justin is can he be an MVP? You guys are going against Justin. No, Justin sucks as a thrower. And Caitlin Clark's not one of the best players over there. She's not playing great basketball. It's okay. They don't need you riding on your horse to rescue them, Twitter.
Right.
They'll be okay.
Now
and guess what? They'll eventually like her. The girls of the WNBA will eventually get along with her fine.
Because they know that she is very good for their sport. And it will happen. It will happen.
And once she takes some crap and she stands, have you seen her answers? They're perfect.
Perfect. Yeah, she's doing everything right.
And that's going to be like, you don't see her crying. She's just, no, it's a competitive game. I guarantee you the other women in the league respect that.
Yeah. She's gaining some fans with the rest of the league. But you know what? There would have been a lot of pettiness. There would have been a lot of, oh, my God, it's just about Caitlin Clark at the Olympics, and it's not about any of us, and we're all the stars, and we've been doing this, and it's just going to be about Caitlin Clark. You know what? They probably made the best decision because you can't have it just about Caitlin Clark. It's got to be about that team, and that team is going to win it either way, with or without Caitlin Clark.
It would have been a nightmare, right?
It would have been a nightmare
because she would have been. And all the Caitlin only fans are losing their mind.
Everywhere they went, it would just be about Caitlin.
All Caitlin Clark, then she plays 3 minutes, and the fans go nuts. Like, why aren't they playing her more? They're up by 17, and nothing but net. It would have been bad for her. The best thing for her, A, is to finally get some rest.
That's right. That's true too.
A, and then B, it's for her to be considered normal in the league. This is one of the best things that could have happened to her, and people only care about themselves. But look, I would have wanted to watch her play, but the reality is she's probably not good enough to get a lot of minutes right now with that team, based on meritocracy.
Well, she could have played every minute and they would win. It
wouldn't have mattered, right?
Yeah.
But this is not the idea that this is going to bring more attention to the league. I get all that stuff, but the league, this is not. It would be bad for if you like Caitlin Clark. This is the best thing for her.
Yeah.
To rest, and B, not to be given a special exemption because she's. The comparison was made
because of her popularity
to Tiger. Right. Well, Tiger was that pop. Tiger won a Masters.
Yeah.
Right out of the gate. Tiger was one of the best players in
and he
golf
still caught
right
it from he still caught it from the veterans. So we got to slow down. Now, that said, two teams that were 3-20, two teams that were combined 3-20 put 20,000 people in the stadium.
I know.
20,000 people in Washington.
It is what it is. Like, no one denies that.
It's just incredible.
No one denies that.
It's incredible. I mean, just everybody. I am outraged Caitlin Clark was left off the Olympic team. I'm boycotting the WNBA forever. No, you were never going to watch them anyway, Timmy. A Cub fan, Timmy.
Stop saying that. But one guy goes, he didn't even intimate. He didn't say white privilege. He just said, this is Caitlin's small privilege that she doesn't answer these questions because all she said was
the internet was not thrilled. Speaking of, you weren't thrilled.
I wasn't thrilled with it. And then that guy ended up I don't know, making his account private.
I bet.
But this guy retweeted. Christine Brennan asked her a question, and she said about what was the question, Dell? It was about we could maybe just find the audio.
Well, I have the audio set up for Ship Talk mostly because of the conversation that started throughout. This guy went to a spot a lot of people didn't appreciate, including our own Jackie Goss. I was reading some of the quote tweets and Jackie got involved.
Jackie.
It was a
Dustin,
Caitlin Clark comment?
Well, this guy said that Caitlin, this is her privilege that she doesn't answer this because she said, I don't have social. She said, Christine Brennan said, you pay attention to social media and all that. She goes, I don't. I'm playing basketball and I don't follow social media. I don't have social media. And this guy said, this is her privilege this is her small privilege that she has to not have to follow this stuff and answer. Like, this isn't a privilege. It's a decision she's made.
I don't want.
This isn't a privilege. If Angel Reese wants to speak on stuff and say, I'll be the villain, Angel Reese could say, look, I appreciate all your questions y'all are asking, but I'm just not going to speak on the Caitlin Clark stuff. She could have done the same thing.
Yeah.
And you can't make her answer those same questions. No matter how much you bitch or complain, you can't.
Yep.
And so this guy decided Caitlin Clark has privilege, quote unquote privilege, because she won't engage with fights with other players or engage. Really, frankly, it's not even the other players.
It is privilege.
It's the media.
Thank you.
It's non-petty
It's just
privilege.
the media
Glad someone
trying
said
to.
it.
It's the media trying to bait her into the drama that everyone seems to love now.
Somebody
She
tweeted
won't
out
do it.
today, sports. That the thing about sports now is that there's no sports to talk about. We don't talk about sports anymore. We talk about all this garbage.
Well, it's
like
turning into culture. war
I
stuff.
mean, Kendrick Perkins compared himself to Jesus this weekend.
And then he questioned Kevin Durant's ability to comprehend because I never said I was Jesus.
He
And then he
compared
went after-
himself. Wait a minute. He didn't say he was Jesus, but he did compare
Did you
himself.
hear him go after LeBron?
Yeah.
Where LeBron said, man, I wish I was still playing with Kyrie and all this. He goes, here we go again.
It's about-
LeBron's got to make it about LeBron.
All right, we got to break it. 713-780-3776 if you want to get in here. Dream Rate Mortgage, my man, Kent Jones. Kent Jones is a listener to the show. Kent Jones loves him some mortgages, too. I mean, he listens. He's probably listening right now. He's listened all of these years. He said, I met him we talked more than a few times. And he's a diehard Houston sports fan. He's been listening to this show forever. But he does on the side, he does a little mortgage thing. Well, actually, it's his whole life. He is a mortgage nerd. He geeks out on this stuff. He loves mortgages. He loves to find ways for you to save money. He loves to get the best deal for you on your Fannie Mae or your Freddie Mac or your FHA or your VA. He's got them all. He'll give you a scenario quote over the phone. Okay, I've got this much to spend per month. How much do I have to put down on a house that's this expensive? You can find all that stuff out from Kent Jones. A lot of mortgage companies won't do that. But Kent gives you personalized service that you're not going to get from these big mortgage companies. They just can't. Kent keeps the number of clients down so that he can give all the attention that he possibly needs. Been doing it for 29 years, and he'll continue to do it, and he'll continue to save you money. If you're going to get a house, buy a house, shop your mortgage. 713-520-5626, 713-520-LOAN or 975loans.com.
Hey, so the Heat wasn't great this weekend. It was dew point. I know some of you asked me about dew points. It was in the low to upper 70s, which is considered basically the end of the planet if you hate humidity like I do. And your AC running will cool out. That dries out the air in your home. It makes it more comfortable. But if you don't have an AC that works the way it's supposed to, if your AC is not working correctly, if there's something wrong with part of the unit that needs to be fixed, Vanderford Air will come in and fix it, because not only are you going to be hot in your home, even if it gets, maybe gets you down to 75 degrees, 74 degrees, if it's not working properly, the humidity is just going to overtake you, and it's going to be miserable in your home, even when the AC is on. You need to have an AC that is working properly, and that's where Vanderford Air comes in. There's no emergency. Within the same business day, they're going to get to your same-day service where they get to your home. There's no additional charges for, emergency or overtime if they're installing a new AC system or whatever the case may be. They're simply going to come out there and get the work done the right way. They can fix what's going on with your AC. They've got an entire checkup system where they will tune up your AC, look for everything that's going on with it, give you a report, and if something needs to be fixed, they give you the price to fix it. If you need a new AC unit, they're going to finance it for you, and they're going to get you a new AC unit that matches the size of your home, so you're not only cooled properly, but also efficiently. It's Vanderford Air, an air conditioning company you can trust that will get you cool and keep you cool. 281-557-COOL, 281-557-COOL.
You are listening to Houston's longest-running sports radio morning show. From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's John and Lance.
Hey, before we get going, because my mind works this way, just so you know, I found this out today in one of my emails that comes in called Interesting Facts. Bees can memorize human faces. Scientists taught bees that they had correct matches. They would give bees sugar water if they were the 8,000 bees were tested. If they could match one face, you saw a face and then they had to match it again. I don't know how the test worked. So in case you think you're going to get over on a bee, and like if you swatted a bee, basically, it's on forever.
Yeah, he knows you.
Because that bee, don't just think you're going to run into a crowd. That bee can pick you out. Yeah. So that bee is going to get you eventually.
We went to church in Mexico when I was down there in Puerto Vallarta last weekend, and there was a bee in the church, and it was, buzzing around everybody. And my wife was like, "Can you get that bee off of out of here?" And I was like, "No,
he ain't hurting you."
But no, well, a bee knows he could follow us back home.
He could have followed you.
Yeah. So I wasn't doing it. So there was a young girl that was sitting in front of us. I was like shooing it towards her. Make sure. Go over there. Go over there. Bother her.
Just don't get into it with bees, because I guarantee you the same thing is true with wasps.
Celtics are dominant, and Porzingis is hurt again. But the Celtics are dominant.
He said
and they've been dominant all year long. Is this? Where is this Celtics team?
This Celtics team is never going to get the love because they've had so many attempts, or they've. I don't think they get the love.
Yeah, but they were really dominant this year.
I don't think they get the love they deserve.
So, are they as good as last year's Denver team?
Maybe. Let's wait till the series is over.
I don't know.
Well, it's that kind of team because they're so loaded.
Is it as good as any of the Spurs championship teams?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
Yeah. Spurs had 3. They had good. I mean, well, now Kawhi was. You always talked about the big 3, but Kawhi was like better than Manu and Tony Parker at one point, maybe Tim Duncan as well. But, yeah, I think so. I think this is a really loaded team. You look at when Porzingis is playing, forget about it. I mean, we're talking about White does his job. Drew Holiday, Mason has the worst basketball takes ever. He comes in and tells me yesterday, I mean, he had just had a monster first half, Drew Holiday.
He had a monster game.
Monster game with 26, but I'm saying, like, immediately. It was just immediately going well. And he said, Drew Holiday was was a bad pickup for the Celtics. I said, why are you saying that? He goes, he only averaged like 13.6 a game. I said, Mason, he's not a primary scorer for them. He's not asked to be. He gives them depth, and he does other things. He's a really good defender.
Great defender.
But you can't say he's only gotten to 23 points twice this year, the whole time. And I said, this is everything you're basing Drew Holiday on this year. Like, they're about to win a championship series, and they're getting over the hump, and Holiday is a huge part of it. I mean, you look out on the field, you look out on the court, and like, holy crap, look how many guys they have. They're deep as crap.
The Celtics this season will be looked at more favorably down the road when people can just remember numbers and start comparing their numbers if they go on to win the title to other title teams. But this title will be looked at as, well, we saw who you had to go through in the East.
Can we stop that?
Why are we pretending that's not going to be the case? We can pretend like it sucks and it's not
but they
real.
They dominated the whole season.
It doesn't matter, John. In the playoffs, we saw who they played, and no one, except for this 5 seed, by the way, a 5 seed, had a healthy roster. So we can talk about how dominant they are, but the playoffs tell.
They're always going to have to live with that.
And in the playoffs, we saw the road was easier than it should have been because of injuries. So once we're 5 years away and we start breaking down the numbers and comparing this team and how dominant they were, they will be looked at favorably because of what they've done. But in the short term, everyone's going to say, who did you beat? Who was available? And it's going to be a little – it's not going to be looked at the same way. That's just how it is. We can pretend like it's not.
Okay, but what is the team?
Be.
But what do you think the team is? Though?
I think the team –
to John's question.
I think the team's a really good one, and
does it compare to any of the other Celtics champion? What about
they won
the Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett?
Yeah, I think it's comparable.
Probably comparable.
I think it's comparable.
I don't know. I mean, two different eras. I don't know how they would have faced fair at all. I have no idea.
Yeah, but that era, every era is different because of the three-pointers.
16 years ago.
Yeah, the physicality too.
It's just they play basketball differently.
Yeah, but Porzingis couldn't. How long would Porzingis last?
Was it 16 years?
Yeah, 2008. So that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
I don't feel like it's really a different era, but
it is.
Well, Porzingis would have forced you way outside too. Like if it's KG, he's having to come.
Well,
way
like
out
Lambeer
there.
did.
Yeah, like they force you way outside, which is hurts you defensively because the Celtics can get on the boards now. I mean, it got big. It's crazy how big Jason Tatum is.
Yeah.
How tall he is. And everybody, I saw this meme where it said Jason Tatum helping the Celtics to the championship, and there's a bunch of people trying to lift this really heavy china cabinet, and there's this one guy who he's got 2 fingers on it, and he's like, everyone's really struggling. He's lifting up his pants, and he's going,
well, you saw what happened in that game. They got up by double digits, and then it became the Jason Tatum show.
No, but ESPN just did a whole segment on can they continue to win with Jason Tatum not being their leading scorer. The answer is yes.
Yeah.
The answer is yes.
That's how you know you got a good team.
And Jason Kidd tried to exacerbate the situation.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown's their best player. Okay.
Well, Jaylen Brown's he has been their
trying
best
to do
player
anything
this
he
series.
can.
Anything he can.
Well, Jaylen Brown's been a better player in this series than Tatum has been.
Yeah.
All right. News of the not news of the
But
world.
who cares?
What did you learn in one
care.
sentence? Brought to you by Free Reign Coffee. What did you learn? We got that next.
Oh, yeah.
I've got mine already. I learned something this weekend that I didn't want to know, but I know now. So I learned something. What did you learn this weekend in one sentence? 713-780-3776. Get in now and fill up the phone lines. And then as soon as somebody gets off, you get in.
High school kids, get in here.
780-3776.
You're off school.
You're
Maybe
off school.
you learned something during your finals.
What did you learn this weekend?
Oh, this weekend.
In one sentence. It doesn't have to be about sports. It could be about anything. I learned a long time ago that Chastang Ford is the only place I'm going to buy my vehicles. Chastang Ford is just the best. I'm thinking about I'm thinking about going and getting myself a different one now. My daughter lives up in Oklahoma City with her family, and they come down here to Chastang Ford to buy their vehicles because it's just so much better. It's just so much better. They bought an SUV from Chastang Ford, and it was just SUV month last month. This month, something different. But they got a summer sale going on all the time. You're going to find your vehicle at the best price you can in the city. And here's the deal. is they're not going to add on, they're not going to mark up, they're not doing any of that stuff. They just don't do it because that's not the philosophy of the Chastangs. For over 80 years, the Chastangs have been selling cars in the city of Houston, and you only stay in business that way, that long, if you do it right, and they do it right. Find out for yourself the best in service, and you're going to get your best deal. And with the best financing you can at ChastangFord.com on 610 at Homestead, not Hempstead, 5 minutes from downtown Chastang Ford.
You are listening to Houston's longest-running sports radio morning show. From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's John and Lance.
All right, welcome back. Time for What Did You Learn This Weekend in One Sentence, brought to you by Free Reign Coffee. I bought my brother some Free Reign Coffee the other day and sent it to him. And he came to the house. He had some Free Reign. He was like, oh, this is really good. And so I sent him a couple of boxes. He grinds it himself. I sent him the beans. You can get beans, or you can get ground, or you can get the pod. So that's where you go, 975coffee.com. I learned this weekend that Larry Nassar is having a rough time of it in prison.
See, I thought it was going to be a cakewalk for him.
And the New York Post wasn't afraid to be very descriptive about it.
Okay.
Wow. I mean,
I don't know what that is, but I'm sure I can Google
it.
Go
Google it.
I'm sure I can Google it.
Yeah.
Because if it's making you act that way, whoa.
I was like, wow.
I learned that watching Carlos Alcaraz in tennis is a lot of fun.
Yeah. Okay.
That guy's a monster.
That's it.
2 sentences.
713-780-3776. Let's get to the phone. Dal, did you learn anything this weekend or no? All right. You want to hold off? Let's hold off. Tom on a mobile is with us here on, maybe this isn't even,
I don't know. We'll see.
I don't know. We'll have to see. Tom on a mobile. What'd you learn this weekend?
Hey, guys, I learned that it's frowned upon to pull your junk out at a bar in front of a bunch of divorced women.
It's the reason it's funny is because that guy clearly listens all the time. Because he did have a little bit of a Tom voice, but we'll hear real Tom at some point.
All right, Vaughn.
But that was in keeping with Tom's call.
That was pretty good. Tom on a mobile. Vaughn. Hey, Vaughn.
Hey. like your intern that went to a special school to get ahead, I learned former NFL running back Jamal Charles once competed in the Special Olympics.
Oh, he did not.
He did.
He has a learning disability. He did not actually. Does Jamal Charles want to compete in Special Olympics?
That is.
I mean, he is a huge betting fan.
Well, as a what? As a sprinter?
Well, I would imagine.
Well, maybe he'll find out, just like Cartman did. It ain't as easy as you think. Okay.
I don't know if we want to.
Well, there's no way.
Dive into that particular episode.
Now I got to Google this story.
Okay. 713-780-3776. What did you learn this weekend in one sentence? Underrated mess. What did you learn this weekend in one sentence?
I learned that if a single MILF is thirsty enough to get into the club, she will convince the owner that her 18-year-old son is her DD.
Baby daddy. That was a lot going on there. I kind of have some other questions. I need to know more about that one.
Okay.
Jamal Charles on the Andy Reid system, his Special Olympics journey, and how therapy saved him from dark days. So, yep.
Jamal Charles is competing in the Special Olympics. Okay. 713-780-3776. What'd you learn this weekend in one sentence? Brought to you by Free Reign Coffee. Anthony is here. Hey, Ant.
Morning. I learned there's a CarMax WNBA commercial where they definitely throw some, make some.
I didn't get that one.
I didn't get it.
I didn't hear the whole
Did you
thing.
get it?
Not really, no.
Broke something, make something? Grow something, make something?
I think that I heard, was it a CarMax? Is that
I
what
heard
he
it was
said?
CarMax, yeah.
WNBA commercial, is that what he said?
We should have a separate segment where people explain what the hell the other person said.
Yeah, because sometimes it's. All right, Nico. Is this Nico Collins? Nico, what'd you learn this weekend in one sentence? Hey, oh, it's Mito. Hey.
I learned if you want to take a real good afternoon nap, just turn on the PGA, man. Just turn on the PGA. Sorry, Don G. Love you.
Okay.
Well,
You
Scotty
just
Scheffler,
learned
your
that?
guy won, and all he did was just cruise.
Oh, he
like,
did.
couldn't get it. He bogeyed, and then it was just par.
Well, it was the course was
Must be.
hard.
Well,
Colin Morikawa.
Mito-
I was following that
If
for a
those
reason.
guys only shoot, if the winning score is 8 under, you know how over 4 days that course is hard.
Well, Mito reminded me of what I learned, and we'll hear more about it in Ship Talk, that John has used Scheffler against the Louisville Police to distract us from the real rivalry, Chambly versus Kim.
Ooh, that was pretty
Save
good.
it.
That was pretty
Save
good.
it.
That was pretty good. All right, let's go. We got a full board. JP, what'd you learn this weekend in one sentence?
I learned that I still have a 15-hour day drinking binge in my bag, and
Nice.
now that correlates to a 15-hour hangover.
Yeah. Sure does. It always does. Congratulations, though. You still got it in your bag. Hey.
You know what? That
you know what?
does-
I'm proud of you.
That's that 1-to-1 ratio,
Yeah.
hour to hour.
Yeah.
And it doesn't hit until you get older, and then there's an age where it's like the hangovers. If you go that hard in the paint with drinking, your hangovers can be pretty substantial.
Uncle Freddie, what'd you learn this weekend in one sentence?
I learned that Taylor Swift broke Bruce Springsteen's record in Stockholm, and the fans spent over $22 million extra in the city.
Golly, Stockholm. I need her to.
Wow.
Well, I wouldn't make any money if she came down to where I live.
$22 million she brought to the city. How
I
about
wish
that?
she would come out to the Hillcroft
I'm telling you,
area.
I think she changed airline prices to come to the city the weekend she was here.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
you mean they raised them?
They raised the rates.
Well, same thing with
Yeah.
hotels.
Yeah. That weekend because of her. Who's bigger, Caitlin Clark or Taylor Swift?
Taylor Swift.
Okay.
And she got left off the Olympic team, too.
Okay, maybe. She did, too. She did get left off the team.
Why?
Keith,
Because she's white.
Keith, privilege. What did you learn this weekend, Keith, in one sentence brought to you by Free Reign Coffee? What's up?
I learned this weekend that in the movie Hitman, Glenn Powell is suddenly a very likable A-list actor, and the beautiful Adria Arjona stole the show.
Oh my God, did she ever?
Oh, my God.
We watched it
I was
this
watching
weekend,
that
too.
last night.
I watched it.
And my wife said, you need to go to bed. It's 11:17. You have a show in the morning. I'm like, just let me keep watching.
Oh, my God.
I'm so sleepy. It's 11:52. I'm like, All right, I
Dude.
got to shut this down. Who is she?
There's something for everybody in that one.
Who?
Because
Yeah.
my wife liked it.
Oh, yeah.
My wife.
Who is Glenn? My wife asked, who is this guy? Who is he, Del? I've seen
He's
him
been in
out
other
of nowhere.
stuff.
I saw him naked holding his junk, and,
he was
and
in a
Sydney
Sydney Sweeney
Sweeney
movie.
is singing his song up his butt. And
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
He was
This
also-
actually happens in the credits of their movie.
Yeah, he was also in Top Gun Maverick, I believe.
Oh, was he?
He was good. He was the other Iceman
Yeah,
character.
the Iceman type character. He's also going to be in the new Twisters movie, the sequel to Twister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. Wow. A star. She's going to be a star.
She was
Vic,
sexy.
What'd you learn this weekend in one sentence, Vic?
We need to get her on the show.
Hey, what's up,
Del.
Hey.
What's going on?
Hey, fellas, I learned that Jose Abreu may still have some fumes left in the tank.
He is running on fumes, but he is still going. He had a home run. I think he's on a 2-game hit streak.
Yeah, congratulations. How about Yiner hitting 4 in a row?
I know.
How about that? Peter, what'd you learn this weekend in one sentence?
Good morning, fellas. I learned, despite doing social media work for 15 years or so, never underestimate the level of someone being a Karen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's
Yep.
a bunch of them out
They
there.
are.
Oh, yeah. No question. Yep. You learned that this weekend. And our final one, because we got to get to Chris Samson on the other side.
Yeah, Chris Sampson's going to be coming up.
Say? Is it Say?
Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned that one of your sponsors, Dream Rate Mortgage, saved me money. Thanks, Granada.
Wow.
There you go.
How about that?
That's one of the best what did you learns that we've had
That
for
is
a
a
long
great
time.
what
Yeah.
did you learn this weekend?
Did you learn anything about
I mean, I told you about it before.
Did you learn anything about
I've
underdog
been telling you.
fantasy or did you learn anything about did you get some windows or anything like that?
Did
or-
you buy some
No?
coffee?
She didn't.
Did you drink any tequila?
Yeah. Did you dunk on anybody?
Yeah. Yeah.
With your adjustable.
Thank you to Free Rank Coffee for sponsoring. What did you learn this weekend in one sentence? Dell is still ahead. Chris Samson next. Dell has got ship talk, and there's a lot
Former
of it.
Astros pitcher Chris
Lot of it.
Sampson, and we will tell you why he's joining us. It's
Yeah.
a proud moment for him, and also want to get his thoughts on. Well, you'll find out here.
What's
in about
going
3
on?
minutes.
Right now, though, we got to talk about Doc Linville. Doc Linville is awesome. I love Doc Linville. I love what he's done for me. I love what he's done for my hair. It really is a changer, especially if you're younger. I mean, are you in your 30s or 40s and you are losing your hair and you're like, man, this sucks? Well, it does suck, but you can do something about it. And by the way, you can do it affordably. You can do it painlessly. You got a 3-day anesthetic, but you really, really don't need. I mean, it's not a painful process at all. The neo-grafting is easy. It's the best process that I've seen. I did the cutting and pasting before. It was awful, awful, awful. So I wouldn't even speak for that company. I was going to speak for them, and I said, no, I can't do it. But this one, man, I'll endorse Doc Linville and what he's doing every single day. And then not only that, but they got the PRP, which will stimulate the growth. And Doc will tell you which one. He's like, I'm not in this. I got my other business where I enhance women, okay? So I'm not worried about guys' hair, so I'm not going to tell somebody to get the neo-grafting when they don't need it because I don't need it. So, look, he'll give you an honest account of what's going on with your head at 975hair.com, 975hair.com. All right, welcome back here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Joining us now, former Astros pitcher Chris Samson with us here, not only to talk about a little Astros baseball, but maybe some Tomball baseball as well, as his son was one of the big cogs in the rotation that won Tomball, the state title. And he's joining us. Chris Samson is joining us here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Chris, how are you?
Hey, John. Hey, Lance. How you guys doing, man? I'm doing well. Thanks for asking, man.
Well, that is awesome. Okay, because I had a son who played, and I was more nervous for him than I ever got than I ever got nervous before a game. How about you?
Oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely. So my wife has to remind me every time that my son CJ's pitching. I was like, you realize you're not pitching the actual game, right? You can relax a little bit. So I was like, man, I can't. I don't know that. I want him to do well so much, man. And I think somebody told me one time is because I don't have the ball in my hand and I don't have control. If I was in the control and I was actually pitching, I was way less nervous because I could handle it, right? I was in control of the whole situation, but I can't control anything he does out there. I just got to trust that he's learned that he's going to do what I taught him to do and things like that. So I just want the best for him. So, yeah, nerves are really high on game day.
As John mentioned, state championship. But to tell you a little bit more about C.J. Samson, and we got a lot of things to talk about with Chris here, but he's listed at 6'3", 210. Does that feel accurate, Chris?
Yeah, during the season, he's lost a little bit of weight. He's not quite 210 anymore. He's around 198, 200 pounds. Right in there, but he is 6'3", so he's still got a good frame. He's still growing. He'll still be able to put some muscle on that big body of his.
And I remember you in the locker room, Chris. You weren't 6'3". I know that.
I was not 6'3". I can thank my wife for those jeans right there.
Nice.
Thanks.
You hear that, fellas?
Yeah. Her dad was 6'5", 250. So yeah, he's
oh wow.
The
it ain't the buck, it's the dough. Just so y'all know.
That's it, baby.
Well,
yes,
I tell you this. So my brother's a football coach at Tomball, and he's been telling me since last year, Chris Samson's son. Well, he said there were 2 pitchers last year on the team, and maybe it's the same way. And he was telling me last year he's a freshman, and he's this. Your son's a sophomore now, and he is dealing. He's going to be he's a junior coming up next year, I guess, but his graduating class is 2026. As he's going to start the major league teams are going to start. You know how this works coming out of high school, and there's going to be decisions about college and high school, and he's a big frame guy who's a really great pitcher. How do you handle that with him since you have the experience of being in the league? But he's going to be a highly, highly touted player coming out.
Yeah, great question. And we're majority of the things that we're doing right now is kind of sorting through the recruiting process with colleges. I know they changed the rules a little bit. Now they can't really talk to them until August 1st, coming up this summer. But beforehand, he was talking to several different colleges, and and that is going to come up, and he's going to have a decision to make. Good Lord willing, he'll have an opportunity to get drafted out of high school. And then we'll just have to make that decision. But a lot of things come into play on that. I think he's going to be mature enough to handle that. Some kids are not. You just got to, every kid's a little bit different. Just because, in my opinion, colleges, their main job is to win now, right? That coach's job is on the line. Right. They have to win now. If he was to get drafted, and he gets surrounded by ex-professional baseball players that are coaching him and helping him develop, their job is to not win now. It's like they have to develop him to get him to the major leagues.
Right.
But at the same time, is an 18, 19-year-old kid way away from home able to handle that. And it comes with a little bit different pressure, too, because not only are you trying to compete against college players if he chose to go to college, but now he's competing against other guys that are just as good as he is, right, that are drafted themselves, and that's a whole different level of a mentality.
Yeah, but you did process. Now with NIL, okay, you did the minor leagues. You did the minor league stint. You know how awful that life can be, how little you're making, how the hotels, the bus rides and all of that crap, as opposed to the way they're treating college players now. I think NIL changes the game a little bit, doesn't it?
Well, it does, but at the same time, now in the MLB and the draft is now they're going to have to up the ante on the signing bonuses.
Yeah.
And then on top of the signing bonus, now you can negotiate in that contract that hey, they have to pay for 4 years of school of the school that he was going to be going to if he chooses to go to college or if he chooses to go to the in the draft out of the senior in high school. So it's pros and cons to both. You can sit here and sift through it, but at the end of the day, we don't have to make that decision right now. We got a whole couple of years to even think about it. But that's kind of some of the thought processes that we'll be thinking about as we get closer to it. And again, it's going to be his decision on that, and whatever he feels comfortable with, and we'll talk about it as a family. And we'll make that decision when time comes. But there's a lot of different thought processes that can go into it for sure.
Chris Samson, former Astros pitcher, joining us right now. His son CJ is a sophomore, going to be he just won state championship at Tomball, and the entire team won state championship. So congratulations to them.
Thank you.
But I do want to talk to you about, as a former Astro, you're probably aware that the Astros have now had 2 more players with Tommy John surgery. Now you've got Jose Urquidy, and now Christian Javier just had their Tommy John surgeries. You're coming off of Lance McCullers and Luis Garcia. Justin Verlander has had one. This is, and we've heard pitchers talk about it. I want to get you specifically because you got a son who's a young player and you're a former major league pitcher. We've heard some pitchers talk about the fact that you throw so hard. Charlie Morton said this. You're throwing with such velocity with breaking pitches, fastballs. You're trying to maximize your RPMs. You've got young pitchers who pitch maybe not year-round, but you've had doctors say maybe they should just put the baseball down and not throw for a long time because your ligaments have not fully developed. What is your thought, having a son who's a pitcher and going through what you went through as a pitcher, what you see now? Give me your overarching view of how to handle young pitchers and what you think is going on.
Man, that is a great question.
Thanks, Chris.
I think there is some legitimacy to that, to where everybody's throwing harder these days. And, how much can the human body really actually take? Are you going to be able to throw so hard that your body just can't handle it? Or I think there's got to be some give and take. So I think, the main thing that I'm really working with my son CJ on is really getting his posterior chain, the back of his muscles, kind of the brakes, right, of his body stronger. Right, I use this analogy a lot, especially when I'm working with when I'm coaching, younger pitchers and things like that. So if you're driving a Lamborghini, you can drive a Lamborghini 200 miles an hour, right? But let's say there's a cliff, maybe 100 yards in front of you, and how fast are you going to drive that car if it doesn't have any brakes, or if the brakes aren't strong enough to stop it before you get to that cliff? You're not going to drive that car very fast, are you? No, you don't want to go over the cliff. Well, same thing. Our brain, we're the brain inside the Lamborghini, so our brain is not going to let us hurt our body. We don't want to break our, it's not going to let us, crash, so to speak. Okay, so if you can strengthen your brakes, your lats, your glutes, your delts, the back side, your whole back, that helps slow your arm down to protect itself. Okay, so the stronger we can get that, then our brain will allow us to have more arm speed, start throwing harder. So that's kind of like a basic kind of answer, but it's a great starting point, especially for the younger athletes. That's what I'm doing with my son. I'm trying to get his posterior chain as strong as possible and really just learn how to pitch. Okay, so let's learn how to pitch first before we start throwing hard. A lot of these youngsters are wanting to try to start throwing hard now and then learn how to pitch later. But now they're developing a habit to where they're so max effort because they're trying to throw hard that they're consistently behind on the count. They're throwing a lot of balls, right? And last time I checked, you guys watch baseball. You guys watch a game. When last time somebody walked in a winning run, did you look up the radar gun and see how hard it was? No, nobody cares how fast ball 4 is, right? We got to learn how to pitch. We got to throw strikes. We got to learn how to compete, right? And mix pitches up. And then as they grow, as they develop, velocity, in my opinion, will come, especially if you're in the weight room, you're training the right way, and things like that. As your body develops, you're naturally going to throw harder.
Are you shutting him down now, though?
You know what? He's got a whole summer to go through. Now, He's pitched in high school. This is the most amount of innings he has pitched in high school. I think he's up to around 90 innings. I really don't want him to go more than 120 innings within a 12-month time frame as of right now, especially at his age. Last year was around 100 innings, so we kind of shut him down the rest of the fall, and then he'll just get in and completely, get in the weight room here. I'm actually working up here at Dynamic Sports Training here in the Houston area. We got 3 locations in Tomball, one in Tomball and West Houston and down south near the Pearland area. So, man, he's going to get in there in DSC, and the whole off season, he's going to get stronger, he's going to get bigger, he's going to get faster, and just try to get better each and every single year. And now, as far as like completely shutting down throwing, he's going to continue to play catch. He's going to do long toss, but he's not going to get on a mound.
Yeah.
I think getting on a mound year round is bad, just because the slope of the mound creates a ton more stress on the arm. You can play catch on a flat ground every single day if you wanted to. Position players throw every single day, but they're on the flat mound. They never get elevated and have to throw on a slope. That slope creates a ton more stress on the arm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you consistently do that and you don't let your arm recover and your body recover from that stress of throwing on a slope, yeah, something's going to
plus the curveballs that you're going to, if you're pitching, you're going to throw some curveballs and you got to cut down on that. Chris Samson with us here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Couple of quick questions. First of all, what is Ryan Presley going through right now? And what do you do if you're Joe Espada as far as his 8th inning goes?
Oh man, you know what? You just got to keep. And honestly, we got to talk to him. He knows he's a professional. He's a major league player. You got to have a short memory. You just got to keep running him out there. You got to figure it out, right? So he'll be fine. He's a professional. So he'll be just fine.
Would you keep running him out there in the 8th?
Well, you know what? Some managers have they maybe a little less stress situation. Hey, let's get a feel back. I think didn't Hader go through that last year with the Padres a little bit?
Yep.
So they maybe take him out of the closing role for a couple times, let him have some really good innings, build that confidence back up, and then boom, right back in it.
Yep.
So it's James. 95% of this game is mental, man. So just let him have a confidence booster in a low stress inning. And, maybe put him in a situation where succeed, and maybe the bottom of the lineup, there's coming up, and non-save situation or a non-hold situation, and run him out there, see if he can't go dominate, get him right back into it. Just like a hitter in a slump. They get a jam shot, base hit over the second baseman's head, and oh man, hey, I'm back. They get a little confidence booster. They break out of the slump, and sometimes that's all they need.
Yep. Chris Samson here. Before we let you go, how many times have you been kicked out of one of CJ's games for arguing with an umpire?
Oh, my gosh. Let's see. I'm telling myself here. Man, for arguing with an umpire of CJ's game, like his whole career or in high school?
No,
Never
whole career.
Kicked out of a game in high school. So, let's see. When I was actually coaching him when he was younger, yeah, I've gotten tossed a couple of times. A couple of times, over the summer.
Oh, and I bet your wife. I'll bet your wife gave you the business.
Yeah, I know I'm in trouble when I get called Christopher. So it's like, Christopher, I cannot believe this is just. I was like, well, I was trying to explain to her. I was like, it's terrible calls. You can't. Like that dumb. So strikes for them, but it's not for our son CJ.
Come on, Blue.
Come on,
Blue.
You did not. Okay.
Both ways, man.
Did you get kicked out of any of his?
Call it both ways, man. He's reliving it now.
Be consistent and not consistently bad, right?
Okay. Did you? Angel Hernandez was up in his little league games. Did you get kicked out of any little league games?
I did not get kicked out of any little league games. It has been since he was probably, I would say at least 13 years old. He was 13
since he was that age.
Yeah, so it wasn't that bad. It wasn't little league.
Did you ever have Angel Hernandez call one of your games?
I don't believe that he was ever behind the plate when I pitched. Now he did. I did. He was behind the plate in some of the games that that obviously we played in, but never when I was actually on the mound. No.
What about Eric Gregg? Because he was terrible too.
Yeah, I don't think so. Thank goodness.
But he'd give you a wide plate. I think pitchers loved him.
He get Braves a wide plate.
I know, right.
Yeah.
Not all pitchers got that.
Who was it? Dontrell got it?
Yeah,
Yep.
Dontrell did, and of course John Smoltz had it one time, and Smoltz couldn't believe it. He just kept going an inch out further and further to see how wide it was.
Yeah. I think probably one of my favorite umpires they had behind the plate was Jim Wolf. So back there, he did a fantastic job, and mainly because Randy Wolf, his brother, I was teammates with him. So he was. And he can never call the game behind home plate when his brother Randy Wolf was pitching. But I got him one time, and they had to mess up the rotation because Randy was pitching, and he did a phenomenal job. I love the guy.
As long as you're on Randy's team,
it's
going to be great.
Hey, my sinker was running way off the plate, and he was giving it to me that day. I was like, this guy's awesome.
I love this guy. That is great. Chris Samson, former Astro, with us here. Congratulations on CJ's success, man, and hopefully we'll talk to you again about it. Hopefully we'll see if he gets drafted high. That'll be great. We want to be a part of it. That'll be awesome.
Outstanding. I appreciate you guys having me on, and best of luck to you guys as well. So thank you very much, guys. Appreciate it.
There's Chris Samson right here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. I got to talk about Robin over at Houston Powder Coaters. I got to talk about what Robin is going to do for you. Robin has told me, she says, okay, I give out the phone number and they can call and I will tell them. They can even text me pictures of what they've got. Your boat parts, your car parts, your wheel kit, your lift kits, your wheels, your anything. And I've seen there's a bunch of wheels there, guys. Okay, you want to make those wheels look cool, powder coat them, save them from the rust, but make them look awesome. That's what Houston Powder Coaters does. Standing behind their workmanship, but also giving you a square deal, also telling you whether or not, you're going to either you got to buy something new and they're going to be honest with you. They don't just want to, no, we can fix. No, they're going to be honest with you, man. You're going to need to go buy something new because that stuff is just so bad. But especially the patio furniture. And here's the deal is the patio furniture, if it's 10 years old, you want to keep it because that steel is better than the steel that they put out now in the patio furniture. So this is a great time for you to get that powder coated and have it look. I mean, you can have it back before summer's over. At HoustonPowderCoaters.com, 281-676-3888. Tell Robin you heard it right here.
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
All right. 713-780-3776 is the number if you want to get in here. Still ahead. Dell is Ship Talk going to be coming your way in just a little bit. As a matter of fact, in about 10 minutes right here on ES. So this is a shorter segment. Chris Samson, great stuff. I mean, it is just so cool to be of your kid doing what he's doing. Congratulations. And the knowledge that Chris brings. And I did you get the name of his the workout place? What was it called?
No, I did not get
Well, maybe if somebody's going to tell us, we'll promote it. We should have promoted it better for him. Anyway, that's good stuff. Chris
I'm
Samson.
glad he came on. He was great. And the fact that his kid won is awesome, too. Unlike that guy whose kid was barely kind of made a golf tournament and competed with, like, some pros but didn't win. You were big up in some local kid who didn't even win.
What are you talking about?
Remember that kid who you were congratulating on not winning anything? Some kid who was like a high schooler who played.
Oh, yeah, that was Charlie Epps' grandson.
Oh, yeah. See, Chris Samson, we got a winner on the show.
Oh, my gosh. You're calling. Charlie is a great player. Great player.
But Chris Samson's kid won, right? Chris Samson's
bad-mouthing a kid.
I'm not bad-mouthing. I'm pointing out that
had an awesome tournament.
I'm pointing out there are levels to this. Chris Samson's kid was in the rotation that won a state title.
Okay.
The other,
and Charlie is one of the best golfers in all of Texas.
Well,
okay.
We want winners on this show. And I'm glad we got a winner.
You're such a jerk.
I'm glad we got a winner. Because I just hope Chris Samson's child doesn't suffer the same fate Ryan Presley has suffered since he made an appearance on this show.
Well, I mean, what do you talk? You're a bad person.
Well,
you're just a bad person.
You guys have talked about how you curse one individual who was a great pitcher. Chris, I'm glad you came on because you're retired. Considering their track record if CJ was on, done for.
Yeah, we don't want CJ on the show.
Don't have the kid on. Let him go on to great success. Keep him away from John and Lance.
We're not jinxes.
Ask Ryan Presley. Ask him.
I mean, he did have 20 straight saves until he came on this show. Like a week, the next week, he blew 2 in a row.
He lost his starting job.
Yeah.
And now look at him.
Yeah.
Costing the Astros a sweep. Of course, Josh Hader played a major part in that too. But we're just going to forget about that.
Well, no. Actually, he caught the ball and then dropped it over the wall.
How about you give up a pop-up and not a deep fly to left?
Listen, how about catch the ball?
How about
cabbage? There's a reason you're a career minor leaguer.
You're a highly paid
catch the damn ball.
Yeah, exactly. He's a career minor leaguer. There's a reason for it. You're the highest paid reliever on the roster. Do better.
Yeah. Well, no. He can't do more than put it in his glove. Can't do any more than that.
No. Cabbage almost made a great play. That was a bad pitch.
Yeah. So I got a question for you guys. What was your favorite Steven Nelson moment?
When he called D'Amico a milk dud man? Or what?
I like better the vest. I like the vest cut.
Mine was
cut better.
When he made a play on the football and knocked it away to help the Texans beat
the pick six?
Tampa Bay Bucks.
How about that pick six against the Browns?
Mine
in the
is
playoff
something
game?
positive as a football player.
No, well, you don't understand how sports works now. Whatever, that pick six, that play, whatever. Him calling the head coach, one of the more, if we're talking about approval ratings, who has a higher approval rating just across sports than D'Amico Ryans, at least in football? And he was like, I'm going to be the one guy who hates on him and call him milk dud man.
Are you going to keep this thing going?
Wow, that's ugly.
It was out of
nowhere.
nowhere.
Like the nerd vest thing better.
Why?
I don't know. And then he got a contract out of it.
Yeah, it worked.
Art says the workout place is called La Colonia. It's not. That's a restaurant.
Was that where?
It's not called La Colonia. Not the workout place. It's not the workout place. I had something, man. Somebody had something good on. I'll get to this in 1 second, but I do think it's. Chris didn't answer this specifically. He just talked about ways that you can strengthen, the breaks of the muscle, basically the breaks of the skeleton, so that your muscular skeleton, the skeletal muscular whatever of the body he's trying to strengthen it. And that's the way that physical therapy and that's the way that everything works to prevent injury. However, he didn't answer philosophically if he has an opinion on usage, but I thought it was interesting that Chris Samson, if you missed it, he talked about his son, who's a really good young pitcher. He does have numbers, innings pitch numbers that he wants to limit his son to. And I think it starts there. That's very smart. But I also know that he's a former major league pitcher, so he has a greater understanding. These dads who just live, and look, to an extent, everyone will live vicariously through their kids who are great performers, athletes, doctor, whatever. You're proud of your kid. That's fine. But it's not fine if you push them into areas that promote potential injury. That's not okay, because or if you burn them out mentally, like, you gotta be smart with how you do it. And it sounds like he's got a great head on his shoulders. And I would imagine that's the case with a lot of professional athletes, is they actually understand it better and they're not the psychos.
Well, it sounds like he's training all kinds of maybe kids and professional athletes. I don't know. I'd like to get the name of his place again to see, and we could promote it for him. That'd be great.
I'll text him.
Dale, you got we got Ship Talk coming up next, right here.
Yes.
I didn't know this. I'm looking at Twitter right now. A fun fact: a majority of archaeologists are women due to their natural ability to dig up the past. Is that true?
I don't think that's true. Indiana Jones, wasn't he an archaeologist?
He was an archaeologist. Yeah, but he's just one guy. The rest are all women.
What about Alan Quartermain? Remember him?
No.
That knockoff Indiana Jones? There was a knockoff Indiana Jones called Alan Quartermain.
No, there wasn't.
Yes, there was. Look up Alan Quartermain.
Target?
A show?
No, it was a movie. A couple movies. It was
Target Indiana Jones?
It was the Great Value Indiana Jones from
Great
Walmart.
Value Kirkland Indiana Jones, if you will.
Yeah,
Kirkland?
Alan Quartermain. Look him up.
Alan Quartermain.
No, we're not doing that. We need more women.
Oh,
in
my
there.
God. He is just like Indiana Jones.
I told you. You thought I made that up? I remember those movies
He's
when I
got
was
the
a kid.
hat and everything. Those movies, I've never heard of these movies.
Well, there's a reason. He was a knockoff.
'Cause he's a knockoff. We
Richard
ain't doing that.
Chamberlain was.
But he was he's from an 1885 novel.
They did have some stars.
He's an actual person.
Richard Chamberlain was in it. Sharon Stone, James Earl Jones.
Oh, yeah?
He was a
Stars.
professional big game hunter and adventurer. An actual real person. How the hell do you know this? See, this is what happens when you're a latchkey kid. You learn all this stuff like Dell, because Solis is the same way. He knows all this stuff, and Dell knows way too much weird stuff.
Yep.
And Alan Quartermain was also on General Hospital. There was a character named that. I know that because
I do remember
Wikipedia
that,
just told me
actually.
in Google.
I remember that.
What about Zadok Jewelers? Did they tell you about that?
Zadok Jewelers says June is Marry Me Month, and so if you want to get married, this is the month for you, and Zadok Jewelers is the place to go. 1801 Post Oak Boulevard. You head out there. They've got over 4 decades in the same spot. The family runs the business, and it's an awesome family, and they've got tremendous people who work there, including a former NFL head coach's sister who also was a professional ballerina. She's actually working there as well, and they have all the answers for you on what you're looking for. And if you're looking for a diamond engagement ring, no one has better quality. No one has the biggest names like they do. And they've got great prices, and not to mention they are going to give you gift cards. You spend $2,500 or $5,000, you're going to get a $1,000 gift card back. You spend $10,000 on that ring, you're going to get a $2,000 gift card to get yourself something, maybe a big time watch. So make sure that you stop by my friends at Zadok Jewelers, and you can make your engagement truly a day to remember.
You know, when I got my new air conditioners from Air Team, I learned a lot of stuff that I had no idea before. Here's a little fun fact. The average adult inhales 40,000 teaspoons of air daily. They have an air purification system that inactivates 99% of viruses, germs, and bacteria. I got four filters. I don't have filters on my on the walls anymore. I don't have to put them in there because I've got 4 filters in my air conditioner, okay? And I only have to change them about every 6 months or so. This is so sweet. They have innovations that you've never had before. And if you are worried about air quality because you're getting viruses, you're getting sick, you've got allergies, all of those things, Air Team can help you out, bro. Air Team will come to your home, and it will give you an evaluation of exactly what's going on with the air quality in your home. But here's the deal, too. Hey, go get your air conditioners cleaned out, bro. You got to. You have to. Otherwise, you know what? You're going to have big problems like I did and have to replace them. Don't do that. Do some preventive work with 713-956-8326, 713-956-TEAM, or go to airteamltd.com.
You are listening to Houston's longest-running sports radio morning show. From the Veritex Community Bank Studios, here's John and Lance.
All right, so this is Lance and I's favorite segment of the week. I know Jackie doesn't like it, but it's our best because we just get to sit here.
And react to things.
I mean, we grind so hard that we finally get a break during the show. Right, Lance? I mean, as hard as we're grinding.
Finally.
I know. So, and
the grind is real.
2.5, so far an hour and a half we've been talking, and without a break, pretty much.
Well, you do have breaks every 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, I know, but we're still working.
Yeah, I get
grinding.
it. Gotcha. So let's give these two very hard workers a break, and we're going to play some audio, and then you know what? They're going to have to do more talking and respond. But at least they don't have to. They can turn off their brains for a little bit. So we're going to go with something that isn't new, but I just like to commend anyone who can shoot their shot no matter the situation. Now, this stems from a court case, and the prosecutor just illustrates how maybe unserious the defendant is.
The state had the defendant on tape selling marijuana to a female undercover police officer on several different occasions. He had no problem whatsoever hitting on the undercover officer on the audio tape, trying to pick her up and saying, "Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal."
That was in an actual trial.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Girl, you're thicker than a bowl of oatmeal.
And then they flash to the defendant, and he goes, "Well, you should have seen her." He made a face like, "Well, you should have seen her."
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't know she was on the cover. Yeah. So just something light to start us off with. We're going to go to something that Lance referred to earlier in the show as well. Kendrick Perkins, known for maybe saying things people don't particularly agree with, had this to say about LeBron James.
Here we go again, bro.
Weaseling
his way into somebody else's moment. Let somebody else, this is not about you. Your team is at home. This is about the Mavs and the Celtics. But yet you're so mad and disappointed that you're not Kyrie Irving running mate no more. Here we go again. And Kendrick's got into it with LeBron, and Kevin Durant's the latest on the list of guys who have taken issue with Kendrick Perkins and his comments. Let's move to the finals themselves. This happened yesterday. Bob Myers discussing how we talked about this a little bit earlier, how it's less about the games and more about the conversation surrounding people or teams. Here's Bob Myers going after Stephen A. Smith a little bit about how we talk about teams.
And the Celtics are on top, right? And anytime you're on top, people used to come at Curry and Durant, and they'd come at you in the media. They'd come at you on the street. And the point is, and Josh knows this, what matters is your locker room, the fabric of that locker room and what they can withstand. And that's why, that Knicks fabric, you guys had that this year. But it is hard to find, man. We tear teams apart more than we ever have. Maybe on purpose, maybe not. Maybe that guy down there, maybe.
Not me.
I don't know. Maybe.
Not
you
me.
might.
That's social media.
That's somebody else. I thought it was you for a second there. But we do this. We attack teams, and especially when you're supposedly the best team. That's the team we come out the hardest, and that's what kids do. Hey, he's trying to make it. Break it up.
Hey, wasn't me. Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy.
And that was in response to, we talked about it, Jason Kidd calling Jaylen Brown the best player, maybe to sow some discontent with the Celtics.
They got to do something because the Celtics are whipping that ass right now. And Mavericks, and the Celtics shot terribly yesterday from the three-point line. They still got to push -7.
What?
Well, it's -7.
Wow.
So they won, but they also pushed.
Okay. We're going to move on to, we don't talk a lot of Colorado Rockies baseball unless the Astros are dominating them, one of the teams they do dominate. This is from a local reporter. He's talking about Chris Bryant. And let's see if you find some similarities between how he's talking about Chris Bryant and maybe how somebody, or at least some of us, talk about a particular Astro in this town.
It is a good day to have a great day. Hi, everybody. I'm Scotty Gange. I tell you, Chris Bryant is one of the greatest bank robbers of all time. You see, the Rockies' first baseman is headed back on the injury list and will miss at least another week and a half. Now, in 2.5 seasons, he has missed 239 games. That's about 2 out of every 3. And with his guaranteed contract, Bryant has earned $25 million in those games which he has not played. That is stealing. For those wondering, $25 million would be the 6th greatest heist in world history.
Has he met a certain McCullers?
Oh, I knew that was coming. Knew that was coming. That's not an everyday player, though, Del.
Yeah, so he's stealing even more because he
gives every 5 days he misses. Well, no, it's still robbery. It's still robbery.
Yeah, but it's not. But he gives back to the community.
I'm sure Chris Bryant does too.
Coffee or something?
Selling his coffee?
HEB commercials, dog rescue.
Okay.
Doesn't he get paid for those HEB commercials?
I don't know. He may do that for the community. As community service.
Seems unlikely.
As community service for other.
Yeah.
I'm sure the coffee he gives away for free too, I'm sure.
No.
No, he doesn't?
We're not giving that away. We're not giving that away.
That's not community service then.
Yeah.
Will Lance McCullers be pitching next year in Major League Baseball?
Wow.
I mean, I'm thinking we're getting to the point where if there's any more arm stuff, he's going to just shut it down. I mean, he's going to have enough. He's making good money. He can retire if he wants to. At some point, he's going to get tired of dealing with this. And, I mean, the Astros aren't just going to keep rolling this thing through with all payouts because Javier's going to basically have 3 bad years at a new contract. Because I'm counting this year and next year when he can't pitch. Now, next year, they'll get an insurance payment. Right?
Yeah, I don't know if he doesn't pitch ever again.
Do you think the Astros ever do that on purpose where they delay surgeries until they know that you can't come back the next year because you get
that whole year? I don't know.
Because insurance does pick it up. You don't have to pay for that.
Yeah.
At least I don't think you have to pay for the whole thing. There is insurance on these contracts, by the way, if there's injuries.
Yeah. I don't know what the
what's the deductible on McCullers? $6 million? He has to pay the first $6 million, and then, or the Astros have to pay the first $6 million, and then it's covered 100% by insurance.
Wow, I would make it more than that if I was the insurance company. But
his premium is high. $6 million's a high premium. What's yours? I got to pay $5,000 individual.
We've got
$6 million is a high premium, sir.
We've got one
more.
It's
$85 million contract. It's not.
The biggest rivalry in golf continues: Chambly versus Kim. If you don't know some of the background, they don't like each other. Chambly has accused Kim of taking money from the Saudis and using it as sports washing to cover up some of their crimes. Kim has accused Chambly of leaving his wife and 4 children for a woman half his age. Those are all things said on Twitter. This was said on a podcast called the Country Club Adjacent Podcast. It's about golf, but comedians talking about golf.
Oh, my God. And they roast people. They were here at Live. These guys will be – I just have to say this. They'll be at tournaments where you walk in, like if we had our tournament that me, you, and Del play in every year for the radio station.
Sure.
And if you – like right before you're going to hit, they start making comments about you. Oh, I mean, it gets hot in the kitchen. I mean, they go after you really hard.
Well, Anthony Kim followed their lead, and he had a great foil because he doesn't like Chambly, and he used his time with them to talk about him.
Thank you for just what you said to Brandel Chambly publicly. I love that. It's just like
it was
somebody
hilarious.
Needs to say it.
Well, you're welcome.
Start there.
Guys like that are
what's wrong with golf.
Yes.
Brandel talks about stuff he knows nothing about. I saw this interview that Mark Lai did. Brandel and David Duval were on the Golf Channel. Brandel went on and on about the Ryder Cup and what it's like in the Ryder Cup room. How the f*** would you know?
You wouldn't know.
Here's David Duval, who is #1 in the world and played on multiple Ryder Cup teams, has all these sorts of records, won a million times. You're over talking to him about what it's like and what they're feeling. If we were talking about like what it's like to drive to a Corn Ferry event and miss the cut, we would call you, Brandon. but we don't do that, you know? We don't do that.
Wow, Anthony Kim. I heard that. I got stories. I've heard stories about Anthony Kim now.
Go ahead.
Anthony Kim is.
Are they from Chambly? Because he responded with, "Oh, okay. You left the game of golf and took an insurance payment, maybe suggesting that the insurance payment was a bit fraudulent. And also, now you're back taking that Saudi money and using it to clean the image of a tyrannical dictatorship." And then he mentioned the reporter who was dismembered. Maybe you've never heard of that guy while you're taking their money.
Yeah. No, I've heard he's an enthusiast. He likes to party now. Anthony Kim is an enthusiast.
Wait, this is crazy now. Brandel Chambly, how many wins do you think he has career?
Brandel Chambly, maybe 2 or 3.
He has 1.
1? Yeah.
In his career. How do I know his name so well? Is it just
because he's an analyst.
Brandel Chambly? No. I've known it for a long time. Maybe it's because it's Brandel Chambly, which is one of the most golfy, next to Davis Love III.
Right.
Is one of the most golfy names you can have. But maybe Chambly has a point. You did take an insurance payment and then left for 12 years, and the only time you came back is when that free money from Liv came?
Yeah. Well, and I think Liv probably had to pay him enough, because if he ever played golf again professionally, he had to pay back the insurance company.
Clawback.
Yeah, right.
Are you sure there's not a time frame where it ends?
I'm not sure, but I do know that he needed the money again, according to what I've heard. He's enthusiastic about it, and he's not any good. Anthony Kim is not any good. Brandel Chambly's career was better than his career.
Chambly did respond like, "I was on the tour for
a
decade. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
What are you longer than you? What are you talking about?"
Right.
Wait, is Chambly English?
But Anthony Kim did make 1 Ryder Cup, so
is Brandel
or a President's Cup.
It's Brandel Chambly. Is he's got to be English, right?
He's from Missouri.
America.
He's American.
He's not English?
No, he's America.
He went to the University of Texas.
Because he says this.
Sounds like, Brandel Chambly sounds like University of Texas.
It could be.
Yeah.
But this is what he said. This is a quote I'm reading. I'm like, this is something someone British would say. Lest his banal drivel gets distorted into relevancy, and just for context, I played the tour for about a decade longer than Anthony Kim and had more top 10s than he did in his career. And while I understand his failures and sympathize with them, his absurd computations seem oblivious to the fact that he was willing to trade his talent for the convenience of insurance payments, and then willing to betray those payments for the convenience of a dictatorial murderer who would pay him to help hide his atrocities. I wish Anthony well, but let's not pretend he knows north from south, or disability payments from obfuscation payments, or for that matter, that he has ever heard of Jamal Khashoggi. This is British. What he is saying is a British thing.
Well, a lot of people come out.
He says obfuscation. Mm-hmm. He says banal drivel.
They teach those words at Texas.
Yeah, but this is the words of a British man.
Or a highly educated Longhorn.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. And then what does Anthony Kim say? Where did Anthony Kim go to school?
He is Oklahoma.
Okay, here's what he says. Randall Chambly, you're such a puss for beating on – he put the Y on him too – for beating on your chest and basically saying never retreat and hypocritically retreat. It is well known that talentless fool is disliked by most people in the golf world. You, just the letter U, you still gonna cover golf? If Live Golf is involved, clown emoji, laughing emoji. Like, look at Brandel Chambly. Oh, I'm sorry. Are you from Leicester? Are you from Leicester? Are you from Middleston or Huddleston? He is from some...
He's from Austin.
He came to Texas to play from somewhere in
St. Louis.
The north of
St. Louis?
St. Louis, Missouri, yeah.
No, he's from the north of London.
No, he's from St. Louis, Missouri.
All right, we got to break it. Good one, Dale. That was a good one. And listen, and we still work. That's how we are. Me and you could have just sat back and relaxed, and instead, here we are, grinding.
I would credit you guys, but you have decided to bury one big Astro story.
What's that?
Alleged story. Allegedly, a certain pitcher had a workout for the Astros.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
God.
we better get into this.
We do. On the other side, right here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Right now,
They just watched them pitch a bullpen.
That's all they did.
Oh, we're just here watching the bullpen. That's all we're
They didn't
doing.
pay him any money, so there's that. Although he did pick a hat off the shelf. HRP.net, 281-880-6525 or HRP.net. Mentioned this a little bit earlier, how much money you can save, how much is your bottom line. Let them come and look at your business and tell you how much they can actually save you every single year. And it could be substantial. Why? See, you're in business to make money. You're not in business to, I don't know why you would be in business other than make money. That's what you're trying to do here. Do your payroll better. Do your payroll technologically perfect. Do your payroll so that your employees get all of their payroll perfectly. Then you don't have to spend a lot of money on it. You're spending too much money. And oh, by the way, you don't know what you're doing. You don't know anything about the Affordable Care Act. That's not your business. That's their business. They know that stuff. They're going to help you with your taxes. They're going to do a perfect job no matter how you pay your employees, salary, benefits, and however you pay them with bonuses and everything else. HRP is going to do it perfectly every single time, just like they do with us. HRP.net, 281-880-6525 or HRP.net.
You are listening to Houston's longest running sports